to do what I was doing already, because what I like to do is put things off until the last possible moment, which generally involves trying to service something, and then all the bolts break off because I didn't change the hardware to stainless steel like I tell myself to. Hello from Saskatoon. Saskatoon. It sounds made up. I know it's real. How's everybody doing here on straight black coffee for straight men? Look, Mr. Hurley, let me tell you something. Coffee tastes like hate, and you have to work your way up to wanting to actively ingest hate in those quantities. In my opinion, coffee is best served with a big helping of ice cream blended together. I'm a tea man, and here's what happened. Maybe Mr. Daniels will be able to relate in some small way. I was a PG Tips man for years. PG Tips all the way. And then, for whatever reason, they stopped using the pyramid-shaped bags, and they just went to like normal tea bags, and something changed, because I think I like Yorkshire Gold better now. I don't know how that happened. I was a PG Tips Gold guy for years. I don't know what happened. Yeah, black coffee. I've been to more than one wedding where the available beverages on the table were, in order, rose water, and black coffee. I've tried it. Any non-coffee drinker has done the game where they sit down, you pour a cup of coffee out of that little pitcher, and you see how much not coffee you have to put in the coffee to make it palatable. If you can drink straight black coffee, you've probably seen combat. Or in the case of my grandparents, had both lived through the Great Depression and or seen combat. I can't do it. Black coffee is disgusting, and I'd be willing to bet that my grandmother and Mr. Hurley would sit down and enjoy the exact same kind of coffee together. She drank her coffee jet black. She would drink 2 full pots a day. And when we were going on the family vacations and trips across this great land during my preteen and teen years, if we stopped at a diner on the side of a highway somewhere in middle America, I never saw that woman drink anything other than black coffee. Just straight jet black trucker coffee. And I choose life. Drink black coffee for Lent? Yeah, see, that's giving up on life. That's choosing coffee over life. Jet black is the only way to drink it. I have a coffee cup that holds a pot and a half of coffee. I drink about 4 of them a day. If it can't float a horseshoe, it's not real coffee. I've tried a number of Tetley teas. Maybe I'm not trying the right one. Yorkshire Gold's pretty good. I've tried a lot. I feel like I've tried a lot. As a non-British person, bottle of water, I feel like I've tried a lot of tea. Or as a buddy of mine calls it, dirty leaf water. And I say, well, enjoy your dirty bean water. So 6 pots of coffee per day seems like a bit much to me. Yeah, it really does. To be completely fair, I think 1 pot of coffee a day for an individual person sounds like a lot. But I can't do it. Coffee, in my mind, is one of the absolute leaders in the category of acquired tastes, and I never acquired it. I never acquired the taste of it. I have, as you well know, I have 1 shot of espresso per week in my patio special coffee drink that I'll be ingesting in about 4 hours or so. This is my recommended procedure. Most of these actually still look pretty good. Some of the stuff down below the waterline doesn't look as good. Yeah, I have, and Mr. Hurley also has another benefit / non-benefit. I don't know how you want to categorize it, in that he is still, compared to many of us, still a youth, because if I drank 6 pots of coffee, I would physically die. I basically cannot ingest caffeine in any form after let's just go ahead and say 5 p.m. I mean, like having my coffee drink at 4 p.m. is about as late as I try to go, because I like sleeping and I want to be able to do that. And it'll happen. You might be sitting there saying, the number of people that I know and or have met who haven't gotten the caffeine thing, where one day you're just like, caffeine doesn't agree with me anymore, is very small. So enjoy it now while you can. I don't know if it's that I can't metabolize it anymore. I don't know what it is. But for many, many years, probably about 40 of them, I could sit down, drink a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper and go to bed and just fall asleep. Fall asleep with the bottle in my hand and the Dr. Pepper in my mouth. And now, no, sir. No, siree. Will keep me up. I mean, it's why we're all here. So we have to be thankful of it for that. What's worse, those monster drinks or 6 pots of coffee? I think cold brew tops them both. Because a cup of coffee is supposed to be what? 8 ounces, 10 ounces, 12 ounces of coffee, which will get you what? It's in the middles, like 50, 60 milligrams of caffeine, something like that. You can get a cold brew. If you have a juice place local to you, you can go down to a juice place and get a cold brew that the medium-sized cup has 300 milligrams of caffeine, and you will take that down in like 95 in an 8-ounce cup of coffee. There you go. So under 100. A cold brew will give you 300 milligrams of coffee in like, well, it's like 24 ounces, but it's not all coffee. It's only about half coffee. It's enough coffee to fool you into thinking, oh, this isn't that much coffee. When I worked in the coal mines for 16 hours a day, I'd go about 2 cases of Monster a day just to stay awake. It didn't work, but my heart did start doing wild stuff. Mr. Hurley, I'm surprised that you guys didn't just go 80s trucker style with the infamous toothpicks. That YouTube Shorts channel is one of my current favorite things. Where the guy is like truckers during the 80s, and he's just doing lines of cocaine and drinking antifreeze. So good. Plastic spacers. Yeah, wait. There's more caffeine in tea. That is true. But from what I understand, the way it's delivered, there's effectively more caffeine in coffee, like by volume. I don't drink tea strictly because of caffeination. I drink tea because it tastes good, and coffee tastes like hate. What is the short channel called? Oh, I know I linked it on the Discord. Oh, I bet if I bring up my my feed. Well, I mean, I know how to look for this stuff on Instagram. I'm not sure how to look it up on YouTube. Like, it's in history. It's in history. And then it should come up in shorts from probably yesterday. Here's the problem with shorts. I understand how channels get a lot of view count via shorts because it's real easy. They're Doritos, you know, they're snack food. People will sit down and watch 300 shorts. Well, I say that under the assumption that other people do the same thing. Yeah, I definitely watch too many YouTube shorts because, like a fool, I say, I'm trying to convince myself that it is possible to manipulate the YouTube algorithm, and I don't believe that there is, because on Instagram you can absolutely curate your feed, like what it shows you. And you can make it as warped as you want it to be. YouTube still, to this day, despite the fact that I'm on it as much as I am, is apparently blind as to what I want to see, because it will show me stuff that I'm like, really, YouTube? Like, I've never clicked on these. I was just discussing on the Discord very recently about how the dislikes on the videos were flowing wild and free in about in the last 10 days or so of 2025. And it's because YouTube, for whatever reason, cranked my number of impressions. And that's what they call, like, we're just going to drop your content into a random feed. We're just going to drop them in there because I have my normal view counts. I have like a baseline. I have a minimum amount of daily views that I can anticipate. And then anything above that is basically people from the searches and people from the what they call up next, right? Which means it was fed to them on their FYP, their For You page, on their homepage. And the number of impressions rarely ever changes. It sits in this like 8 to 10% range. So if they put 100 impressions out, 8 to 10 people will click through. But that's not how many they do. I've consistently averaged about 30 or 35,000 impressions a day. So they're putting me in front of 30,000 people who have not seen my content, right? They're not subscribed. They've never been to the channel before. They're what are called new viewers. 30,000 a day, if it was how many bananas you had to peel, that would be a lot. But in terms of people who view YouTube on any given day, 30,000 is absolutely nothing. When you consider that there are channels that I'm subscribed to that when they post a new video, it'll get 2 million views in the first couple of hours. And I'm like, that's crazy. And a lot of that is from feeding via impressions. And there's no method to game it. Well, I mean, there is to a degree. The Spiffing Brit has done some game the system stuff. YouTube asks me what I want to see and then shows me something else. Yeah, pretty much. Will you be doing more gaming live streams? In January, the first proper DLC will be coming out. The first proper DLC and the first DLC character. So I'm going to start another playthrough on the new character Cash, and I will be live streaming that. Yeah, so we'll bring back the Tuesday morning / afternoon live streams. Probably Tuesday afternoon, like after 12. We're gonna see, but like, I mean, we did the DLC, we did the Christmas DLC, and then I mean, other than that, I still log into Borderlands every day, and I go and I do my daily missions for my vault card, and I try to get up one impression level. But it's specialization level. But it's it's an absolute slog. It's an absolute slog. So I'm looking forward to the new releases, but I ain't no quitter. How's your second Cattleman vid doing compared to the unboxing first one? It's at about half the views currently, but the number of views that I got on that quick view, I don't know if it was unboxing. There was a lot of impressions fed on that, and like 60% of the views on that video were from people who'd never watched the channel before. So I still don't understand what's going on with that video, nor do I understand what is going on with, it came from the Workbench Volume 70, which has about 50% more views than It Came From the Workbench should typically have. So I guess it's the impression feed. I don't know. If there was any way to predict it or identify what it was doing, trust me on this, I would figure out how to capitalize on it, but I don't know. First time 3D printing, I wish you nothing but luck. The folks on the Discord are the only reason that I am still 3D printing at all. I find it unrelaxing. What is the opposite of relaxing? 3D printing for me. Glow in the dark neon orange. Well, I can tell you one thing that is a guarantee. Surprisingly, the screws in the bumper look pretty good. It will be painted with something that is here. Yeah, I think Benjamin is most likely right. Looking to justify their purchase, yeah. Confirmation. They're looking for confirmation and assurance. And, I mean, it's not going to happen. The longer I work with that thing, the more disappointed I am in it as a release. It's definitely it's definitely down near the bottom of bad releases 2025. It's almost unforgivable with Thunder Tiger 2. Hey, thank you, Jimbo, for the 35 squiggles. I'm not going to pretend to know what those 35 squiggles are. And Mr. Mr. Brandon Pfister, welcome to the Secret Society. Thanks for hopping along. We appreciate your being here. That's the one I'm looking for. Cattleman needs to be cow-themed on the paint. It's the only way to make it remotely match the name. I've already discarded Cattleman. Cattleman is not the right name for that. Just like I won't call that J Concepts, why I won't call geologic infections by their given name. Ooh, that's a longin'. That's a longin'. 20. I got some. Yes. A cattleman is a cattle wrangler. Oh, I see what you're doing there. It's a I still don't like it. Like, Mr. Cross likes the name? Well, okay, Mr. Cross, down there. Okay, what is it? Am I remembering right that there's more sheep in New Zealand than there are humans? Is that right? What is a farm dude? What is a sheep farmer in New Zealand drive? Right? He's not going to drive a JLU Jeep, is he? It's going to be some kind of ute. A wrangler is a man that wrangles cattle. Yeah, a cowboy. Right. There's nothing cowboy about a Jeep. Like, you can't, like, you're working the opposite direction. Like, instead of reinforcing the cattleman name, you're going to make me think that Jeep Wrangler is a terrible name for a Jeep. And I kind of feel like it is. Hilux or an LC40? Yeah. Well, Associate is looking to wrangle new buyers. I see what you did there. Blame the French? I blame the French for a lot. Don't they use drones now to herd animals? Probably. We drive the Toyota Hilux. It's like a smaller Tacoma. I know what a Hilux is. Jeez, I've watched Top Gear. 10 flat. My old Ford pickup that's rusted around. I got hit by a car in Paris, France once. Hey. Cowboys want flatbeds to load hay easier? Right. Real sheep farmers run, they don't drive. Oh, that's a dog thing. What was the name of Jolly Green Giant's little sidekick? Wasn't it Sprout? Is that right? Was Jolly Green's sidekick Sprout? That sounds right. Wait, you guys also blame Frenches? Oh, no. When we talk about blaming the Spanish, we're talking primarily about you specifically. No, the long running jokes about the French have been around forever. Popeye's sidekick was Jeep, the Jeep, which I believe had something to do with them, whatever that formation, GP, General Purpose, the GP 1941 being turned into Jeep. We got to make sure everything's the right length. I guess it's an associated thing, and don't get me started on the French. Oh, that just made me flash back to that documentary. Mr. Cross turned me onto a documentary. You can find it. Was it on Netflix or was it on YouTube? I think I might have watched it on Netflix. Or was it YouTube? There's a documentary about a boat and about the French. Holy moly. The French are never allowed to say anything about us Americans because they have done some incredibly shady stuff. Incredibly shady stuff. Oh, it's on YouTube? I couldn't remember where I watched it, but the whole time I watched it, I was like, this can't be. This can't be. But no, then I went and Googled it. I looked into it further. Like, they only, like, somebody finally admitted it, like, 40 years after the fact. People die, is basically the short of the long of it. What did I miss? Do you ever watch the YouTube channel 4-Wheel Drive 24/7, bunch of Aussies and RFers? No, I have never heard of that because my YouTube algorithm is like, why would he want to watch things about 4-wheel drive cars? We're going to show him other stuff. The Willis Overland Scout. Yeah, that's a little too long. We gotta take all the down to something smaller. I know I'm missing a couple here, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it shortly. Oh, so if anybody is wondering why I'm oh, I see them all now. Jeez, I didn't do anything on the skid. Why I'm doing this is because 'twas but yesterday I sat down. That's a tosser. Woo! I sat down to correct the link. Yes, Rainbow Warrior and the French. It's a good watch. I sat down to correct the link situation on the back. Why did that feel like it was into nothing? Oh, that's why. And I got carried away, as I oft do, and left myself with nothing to do. Is that an IFS front? Yeah, this is a... Oh, okay. That goes nowhere. How am I going to get a lock nut on that? Excellent question. Excellent question. How am I going to get a lock nut on that? And I left myself... Yeah, all these are screwed. No pun intended. I left myself with nothing to do. I did fix the link situation, though. So I got that going for me. That one's okay. Yeah, it's like, okay. It is particularly irritating to me to watch what's happening with Associated / Element, because I basically saw this happen with the 1-1 car that I drove, still sitting dusty in the carport, my Scion TC, because Scion was the Saturn of Toyota, right? They wanted to make a economical, somewhat youth-facing brand, and they missed their target. Like, 18 and 19-year-olds weren't buying them. All the Gen Xers were buying them. The 40-year-olds were buying them at the time. And rather than leaning into that, they kept trying to make cars that they thought would appeal to this youth demographic. And it worked to some small degree, but it did not work nearly enough. So basically, through their own mismanagement and their own desire to bend things to their own will, Scion put themselves out of business, right? By not just embracing what was working. Because if they had pivoted toward embracing what was working, they would have taken the original XB, the toaster, they would have updated it modestly, and then just re-released it, and they would not have been able to keep them on the lot because people loved that car. They loved the BB. They loved the IST. The Scion XA and XB were the keys to the success of that company. And instead, what they did is they pivoted away. And it eventually ruined them. And they're out of business now. Well, not really. They're just folded back into Toyota. So we're seeing the exact same thing with Associated and Element. Because I think Associated and or Thunder Tiger, depending on how you want to look at it, they have some kind of unachievable vision for Element. I don't know what they want, but I do know that they're absolutely not going about it the right way. Are we talking about the little block rectangle SUV hatchback Scions? Yeah. We were talking about them, and if you talk about something, that's the way to make it appear. We were talking about the old Xbox, the toaster, and one drove by us on the road. The last year the vehicle appeared in that body style was 2006, meaning that car at its youngest is pushing 20. It's still out there because it's got a Toyota 1.5 liter in it that refuses to die, because Toyota's been using that same block for coming on 50 years now. And they had an economical brand, and here's the deal. What does it matter who it appeals to? Because what they do is they pivot the other way, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make bigger cars with more power, because that's what people want, because that worked out so well for the American auto manufacturers. And we're gonna make bigger, more powerful cars." The XB2 was basically the same platform that they built the TC off of. So it had the 2.4 liters, so the gas mileage got cut by almost half. It was much bigger. It was more expensive to insure, etc., 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 etc. I can't remember the last time I saw an XB2 on the road. Like, they're gone. The same goes for TC2s. I never see those anymore. I still see TC1s. Mine's a 2005. My 06 RAV4 has the same 2.4 liter engine. Yeah, a lot of Toyotas have that same 2.4 liter. Bigger cars with V4 turbos, those engines will not last, as they are not built for high revs like Euro cars. And that's every car now. And you can thank, well, in big part, the American government for that, because they like to penalize companies for putting V6s and V8s in cars. So they're putting turbo 4s in everything. And they know. They know it's going to work out for them at both ends, because the longevity is not going to be there. Because when you say turbo 4, you think hot hatch, right? That's a hot hatch. You don't think turbo 4, the new Land Cruiser is a turbo 4. That vehicle weighs over 5,000 pounds. Turbo 4. Yeah. The GRC 3-cylinder making 300 horsepower is here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. A lot of guys loved the Fiero. Anybody who buys a full-size truck with an inline 4 in it is an idiot. Well, I have questions, comments, and concerns about anybody buying a big, bit like a full-size truck in Southern California. Like, what are you doing with that? What is the, what are you, like, literally, what are you doing with that? You've seen what gas costs. I've pulled up to the gas pump after the guy that just filled up his Silverado HD 2500, and it says $130 on the thing, $140 to fill that thing with gas. Was it Nissan who made the Cube? Yes. A buddy of mine can't abide the Cube at all because of the asymmetrical nature of the back door. My cousin just bought a new GMC pickup for $96,000. Yeah. There are trucks. There are trucks sitting on the lot right now that cost more than all the cars I've owned in my whole life is the sticker price on that pickup truck. My Subaru was the most expensive car I've ever bought, and it was $40,000. And I'm hoping that it's the most expensive car I ever buy, because I am determinedly not a car guy anymore. Those days are gone. I don't even want to drive to the store. I got to take my boat to the lake and give someone else to launch it because I can't back a trailer, bruh. That sounds like big trucks. Also, that guy in his 2500 Silverado HD, he's the guy that's backing into the parking space at the Costco. The cost savings between a small ICE hatchback and a hybrid is so narrow that the hybrid is overpriced. It's not even that narrow. Like, I can't back up a trailer. I've never owned a truck. I've never had the need to back up a trailer. I own 2 trailers. One has a Traxxas RC boat on it, and the other one I use to pick up trailside trash. I have backed up a trailer at the dump, a rental trailer, the big Tex, the rental trailer. I can back up a trailer, but I don't back up trailers. I've definitely not done it enough, and I know that you also, please do take this into consideration. This is Southern California. Very few of us need pickups. Very few of us need trailers. So it's not a matter of inability. It's a matter of, like, how often have you done it? Like, how many times has it come up? You know, I definitely wouldn't be the best at backing up a trailer, but I do know where to find cheaper parking in places like downtown LA, and I can kind of sort of navigate the peninsula down in San Diego. That's Southern California stuff. As someone who drives a Sierra 2500 HD, I'll defend the backing into parking spots. They're long enough that you either have to back in or stick out in the parking lot lane. My thing about the backing into, I back trailers fair. I would say that's accurate. That I will put myself in that category as well. My thing about people, it has gotten to the point where the absolute annoyance of that guy that goes past the parking space in the row, does not have his blinker on, drives past the parking space, and you're like, oh, I guess he doesn't need to park here. So you start to go towards it, then you see his reverse lights come on. And I think that this is an appropriate use of the phrase. You go, oh, one of these assholes. And then you watch him back into that parking spot at this speed. He's almost there. He might get it on the first try. He might get it all the way in. He backs all the way in to save all that time that he's going to save when he leaves by stopping everyone. The guy going this way doesn't get to move. I don't get to move. The guy over here that desperately just wants to pull out of his parking spot doesn't get to move. And then I sum it up thusly. The ultimate expression of a person who has to back into every parking spot was exemplified outside the Lowe's, where I watched a man. Whiteboard! Okay. It goes like this. These have trees in them. This is a tree. This is a tree. And then it has the lines of parking blocks. And then here are the lines for the parking spaces. I'm parked right over here in this parking space right here. And I'm watching a guy in a big, it could have been an Excursion. It could have been a Suburban. It was a full-size SUV. He backed into this parking spot right here, which is actually about 50% obscured by the island with the tree on it. So I'm sitting here in my car, and he is backed into this parking space. He comes out of the home improvement store, and he has a flat cart, and it has a toilet on it. He has a flat cart with a toilet on it. He then proceeds to open the back of this thing up and attempt to maneuver the toilet between this tree and the back of the car, instead of just pulling into the goddamn space face first and putting the toilet in the back of the damn car. And I watched this in a disgusted, like, have you ever been horrified and amused at the same time? This is not the tree's fault. This is not anyone's fault. This is this guy's fault. This guy is an idiot. Like, that's an idiot. If he had parked anywhere, park over here, you could access your car from the back. No, that guy made every possible bad choice. This is Southern California. Many parking lots, I don't know about y'all, many parking lots look like this, where the parking spaces go like this, and then the ones on the other side go like this. So cars go like this. And that's because the traffic flow in that lane is one way, and then the traffic flow in the other one is the other way, right? So you're supposed to pull head in. Do you know how many people back into those spaces? So now that they're facing the oncoming flow of traffic, what we need is a pattern. We need a culling, is what we need. We need a culling. These people need to be removed from the population because the odds are it's already too late. They've already been allowed to breed. And, like, I know, man, it's cool. You can back into a parking spot. You know when I do appreciate it? I don't hate all people that back into parking spots. I watched a guy in a BMW, of all things, whip into a parking spot backwards so fast. If he had been doing it any faster, he would have been drifting. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in a parking lot. Like, he went, and I was like, oh, we got one of these. And he went, shoom, and just rocketed into it. And I was like, that guy is allowed to back into whatever parking spot he wants forever. But do you know how many, so we've got toilet guy, and then we've got, I can get it on the 5th try. Like, I'm going to be too angled. I'm coming out. If you can't do it, go home and practice backing up into your driveway. I don't back into spots not because I don't know how to back into spots. I don't back into spots because if I'm at the damn Costco, I'm buying $400 worth of groceries, and it's significantly faster and easier to load them into the back of the car the way the parking spot and the car intended than it is to try to squeeze in between two parked cars in a lot because you chose to back in, because you have to back into everything. Well, yeah, I mean, a forklift, Mr. Cross, are you forklift certified? I mean, you must be. He's a forklift driver. Look. I have watched many a YouTube video of somebody backing a semi-trailer into a parking spot, into a bay, in between two other trucks, and I'm like, that's not possible. What that guy's doing is impossible. But, yeah. I would still enjoy driving if it wasn't for all the other people out there. This is Ruby, God, what is Ruby? Trail Runner? Is that what this one is? It says it on it somewhere. Yeah. Trail Runner. Yeah, there's no chance under the sun I could drive a semi. It's too late. This old dog cannot learn those tricks. I feel, and you know, I'm not Ayrton Senna either. I feel like my greatest skill as a driver is that I just pay attention. Because, you know, I started off in manual transmissions like a lot of us did, so I pay attention to what I'm doing and where I'm going. When I was a bus driver, I used to say it would be a great job if I didn't have to stop and let people on all the time. Yeah. What would you say is a good insert for 1.9 ruptures? Now, I'm assuming when you ask that question that you're using it for a rock crawling application. Where did I take this screw out of? I'm going to assume you're using that for a rock crawling application. Look into, I would say, first, I would say revolt. Second, I would say you can build your own. If that's a thing that you're interested in at all. You can take the inner from a Tim Tin or the non-Tim Tins, the Christmas ones like this, and you can stack fridge foam up on the outside of them, fridge foam and carpet tape, and you can do this, which is much larger than one that goes in a typical 1.9, and you can just add layers until you get the size that you need it to be. The easiest way is going to be to buy some 3D printed insert. Sadly, in terms of things like silicones, there's basically nothing available that will directly fit a rupture because a rupture is an odd size. You could actually, maybe there's another option you might be able to consider. The dual stage insert from Upgrade RC is a little oversized, meant for about a 5-inch tire. Is fridge foam and a Tim Tin good in a wet trailing situation? No, I would not say so. For trailing, I only run silicones, which is not necessarily a problem because I wouldn't trail with ruptures. But it is also a bit of a problem because one of my primary trailing tires is the Trepador, and the 1.9 Trepador is right about the same size as a rupture. So there's really nothing off the shelf. I know Squid Insert makes an insert. Revolt makes an insert. But like, if you need waterproofing, insert foam supports. Oh yes, there is also that. Sputter Crawler produces these, which are basically just sidewall supports for single stage foams. And the single stage foam in an insert in a rupture is actually quite good. This replaces the inner ring as well. So that is an option as well, because single stage foam is probably going to be your best. In terms of forward drive, single stage foam is your best overall option. Dual stages are there to assist in keeping your tire from folding over to the side. There are also, I can't even remember who makes them. Is it Three Brothers? Three Brothers makes a rupture specific insert for stretching 1.9s onto 2.2s, but that's very much rock crawling only stuff. My Canyon Customs do okay with water and much better than single stage foams. Yes, much better than single stage foams. But what will happen is that fridge foam will start to break down a bit. And we can definitely give you a visual representation. These are basically built in the exact same manner. These are freshly constructed, and they have never been mounted. These have not been put in a tire. Now, these have been in a tire. These were inside some, I want to say KLRs, that were used on the trails 2 times and ended up like this. Try reversing a rig with 2 trailers? Absolutely not. Do you have any other tires? Yes. Why can't I remember who it is? Why can't I remember who it is? Someone is sending in a set. I talked to him about it on the Instagram, not on the Instagram, on the Discord, because he asked if I had been able to get a hold of them, and I said I have not, because of the whole of the thing. Like my address for whatever reason, Three Brothers. If I go to Three Brothers and try to order something, it says, well, we do not ship to that address. I don't know if I should take it personally or take it as a badge of honor. So I'll choose badge of honor. I don't know which one it is. Yeah, Rock Bulls. Yes. Have you ever tried any of those 1.9 or 2.2 tires that you air up? Sputter Crawler sent in a set of the 2.2s that air up, and I never got to run them because they're haunted. They were literally haunted, like possessed by some kind of evil spirit. They would jump off of shelves, all by themselves. I had them right over by my table saw, and on more than one morning, I would walk out here and one of them would be on the ground, like from out of the box. But I don't believe in the supernatural, so it doesn't really affect me. I'm curious about the Rock Bulls. Looking forward to that tire test. I don't even know if I'm curious, to be honest. Like, it always swings back around to the first question that must be asked during any tire test, which is why. And I don't know why. I've not been disappointed. Well, no, I have. Yeah, I forgot about Reefs. Reefs has already begun revisionist history, ignoring that the gray compound ever existed. They've pretty much just gone to the pink now. But I tested a number of tires in their gray compound, and it was horrible. It was horrible. No reason for living, and I had to endure it. So, didn't G-Made make tires you had to air up? They might have. Air-filled tires don't work. I'll just tell you that, and I'll tell you why. Because we operate in a sphere of the semi-pneumatic tire, and you can't replace okay. Go look at the sidewall of a regular tire. I feel like I missed some. Oh no, there's no front links on this thing. I did miss that one. You can't replace a semi-pneumatic tire with a pneumatic tire because is that the same length? Yes, it is. Because we're using the insert to basically control the behavior of the tire and support the sidewall. Just don't vent the tire or rim and don't put a foam in it. Well, that's the thing. This is what I'm building towards. A pneumatic tire is designed differently. It's going to have a thicker sidewall. It's going to be able to handle more lateral load on it, which is why the tire on your car doesn't just collapse over sideways when you go around a turn. And the stuff that we do, which is incredibly high weight loads compared to what a full-size car sees, we're seeing a lot of G-Made Bighorn. We're imparting a lot more load on the tires and a lot more lateral stress, because if you were to have a magical machine or a genie, whichever you like, and you could take this and blow it up to full size, so now that you can operate it, it would be terrible. It'd be absolutely terrible. The weight loading on it, like the forward bias, how soft the suspension. Can you imagine? Imagine just blowing one of these up to full size so that thing is, God, it would be what, 900 millimeters long? That's kind of a lot. Yeah, like a meter long. Okay. So like a 36-inch long shock with a spring about 1.5 feet tall. Yeah, I guess it'd work. But typically, no matter what you're driving, it's air can't be scaled from 1/1 to 1/10. That's a huge part of it. Oh, the magical machine does work better. Dirt bikes have foam inserts to mimic PSI to prevent flats. Apparently, it's very popular. A buddy of mine who rides dirt bikes just spent all the money to put one of those systems in his dirt bike, because where they ride in these old cold fields in Pennsylvania, in the mythical land of pants, they get like sidewall punctures all the time. The forward bias of a 1/10 crawler is about the same as a full-size diesel truck. Hey, there you go. But a diesel truck is intending to pull a trailer behind it with X amount of weight in it. It's like that old episode of Top Gear where they were driving, Clarkson was driving that dump truck, and it was terrible. And then they put a bunch of weight in the back of it, and he goes, oh. Yeah, because that truck was designed to have all that weight on it. Okay, the back one still. This is Ruby, indeed. Indeed. Ruby had to go through a bit of a teardown as my eldest drove this for Wheelin' Wednesday, and he is what we like to call a menace. So the receiver box had water in it. The whole vehicle basically had water in it because, as I mentioned, a menace. A couple screws had started to vibrate out. A couple screws were completely jammed. That's another 27. I genuinely forgot last month that I needed to put a McMaster order in. My 98 Prelude had perfect weight distribution, 60/40. Are the camel scale trucks not 10th scale? They're definitely not. They're definitely not. The Trail Runner, if anything, is closer to 10th scale. The exception to this would be like, who can get away with it? And not only would I say that the camel trucks are not appropriately 10th scale, but I would say that the Defender and the Discovery are not even the same scale. I don't think they're, any of the three camels are the same scale. This was because, I don't know, a little bit of laziness. They wanted to use all of the same underpinnings, but a D110 Defender and a and a Discovery would be different sizes in reality. And this is evidenced by, well, just looking at them parked side by side. Air pressure can be scaled down, but people try to make them act like balloons, and that's why it doesn't work. Yeah, you can only run like 2 psi, and at that point, the Defender would be way bigger than the Discovery, but they look about the same size. Yeah, absolutely, that is absolutely correct. Yeah, they're not remotely close. I'm looking at the FMS Camel 110. The only issue with it, why I chose the Disco over the Defender is, well, number one, the wife wanted the Defender. And then the Defender, because of the size of the fender arches, you're basically limited to sub 4.5 on the tire. And on the Discovery, you can run pretty much whatever you want. You can run a 4.75 and it will fit. But that's really the only drawback. I have a 313 LC80, and the FMS LC80 is a good chunk bigger. Yeah, the LC80s are most of the FMS stuff. Well, I mean, Who am I thinking? Okay, the FJ40 says 10 scale on the bottom, and it's 7th scale. The FMS Camels are smaller than Bruce. Yeah. You know what I can do? Remove this for a second. Oh, wait, here. Here, watch this. So these are some open countries. These are the 445s. And I mean, I commented on it when it was out there. Sometimes the tires look too small. Like usually when it gets gapped out, oh, they look real little. But then when it's rolling, that looks perfectly right in terms of scale. And I mean, they really do. Like you can't. 445 is. But the TRX4 version is effectively 1/8 scale, and I mean they're the same size. They're the same size. So I would say the Defender, I would say this guy is about 1/8 scale. Which would be pretty close, maybe a little under 1.85 scale, something like that. But the measurements on this one, I mean, you just go by the weight. How does Bruce stack up to the Rock Hobby Willys? It's the same chassis underneath. Bruce, the 1941 MB, the Michigan are all the same, and the Atlas are all the same chassis underneath. There's basically two chassis from FMS. There's the non-FCX10 stuff, and then there's the FCX10 stuff. Since you were able to build the XF backwards, oh my God, you know what you just reminded me? I recorded a video about the backwards XF and forgot to edit it. Can you explain the waterproof box on Gate Rover? I can. You know what? That MB needs a Zoku under it normally. You know what I just found in a box? Zoku rails. I've got some alloy Zoku rails that I didn't know I had. I must have replaced them with carbon rails. Now watch the sand pile that this thing. Yeah, painting the jerry cans is not a bad idea. I'm also just going to remove this, measure it, laser cut something to fit this, because the one that's on there is just 1/8 inch plywood, and I have plenty of 1/8 inch plywood. Hey, Jimbo with the 5. Let me put this one away and let me get the other one. They're all coming from the same shelf. Yeah, 1.87. Yeah, there you go. But they are not 12.3. They are 12.8. This Defender and that Defender are both 12.8s. So someone was asking about this, which thankfully I have not had to use. These are broadhead boxes. So we've got servo horn, selection of screws, 1.5, 2.5, 2 millimeter, handle, a little cross wrench, a couple cross wrenches, wheel nuts, some pins, drive pins, the usual stuff. I'm not towing anything out anymore. I did that once. So he carries a box, and then it's basically a more rig specific, but same sort of an affair on Bruce's roof. And it does occur to me, oh, here's a little tidbit for you. After we turned the camera off, before we made it back to the car, everybody's battery died. I carried mine for almost a mile, I think, to get back to the car. The wife's died very close to the car, thankfully. And it was because, due to my lack of preparation, I grabbed the reserve batteries out of the back of Bruce and Sheila, not remembering in the moment that those were not fully charged batteries. So I left with a 4200 pack that was at about mid-50s percentage charge. And that's how far I got. And then I had to carry it the rest of the way. And I can state this for a fact. There is no comfortable way to carry that Discovery, that FMS. Whether you put your hand under from the front or your hand under from the back, like this from the back is not a problem. There's a little groove under there that goes through the body. And from the front, not as good. The back of the front bumper mount isn't super comfortable, but some vehicles are definitely better to carry than others. Hey, Mr. Turner with the 10. Keeping the Sawtooth alive. Oh, and he hit Chuck Hess. Second one out. Attach a shoulder strap to the exo cage. The thing is, these things don't really want to be loaded like that. These parts are cosmetic. Particularly with the, as I had to carry it, let me tell you about something specific about the FMS, which is the little quarter turn quick release body mounts. They're great right up until until they isn't, because the rear body mount on mine, when I removed the body to unplug the battery after the battery had died, sand fell down into them and could not be extricated, so the body would not lock down on the back. So the whole time I was carrying it, the body was just flapping like this, which meant I also had to carry it from the front, because if I tried to carry it from the back, the body would try to swing open and tear the front body mount off. So they are basically meant to be driven, and they effectively do not cooperate to being carried. And the wife has in her other bag, she has a carry strap to carry them. Yeah, carrying by axle would be great if the axle wasn't so far under, and then you can just have this thing dig into your wrist as you carry it for 20 minutes. It was my own fault because I didn't check the charge, and I brought 0 spare batteries. I always have spare batteries. And the wife told me that morning, I'm out here getting the stuff ready, and she's like, I'm making the big one go with us. And I go, oh. So I dug around, and I found something that could be quickly put into a condition to drive, and that's how he ended up in Ruby. Also partially because last time he was out, he drove Dana the Zool, and Dana the Zool is faster, and he gets into even more trouble with Dana the Zool, so I was trying to keep him yeah, the walk of shame. This wasn't the worst one. The worst walk of shame is when the screw fell out of the wife's servo horn, and she had to carry it through the forest of Forest Falls for about a mile over uneven terrain, and it was not great. Also, I am one that chooses to believe that all of that preparation that we do, that's it. I believe in the Murphy's Law thing. That's what makes things go wrong. Have someone with a 3D printer make an axle handle that has hooks to carry them. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. How many Wheelin' Wednesdays have we done total? And we've had to carry vehicles out due to mechanical failure or dead batteries. So Sheila broke once and now can't break that way again because I replaced it all. The wife had a screw fall out. I had a battery die, which was my own fault. There were spare batteries here at home. I could have just taken one with me. Gate Rover has not broken yet that I can recall. The Camels have been completely trouble-free. Both of our batteries died, but battery death doesn't count. If I wanted a Defender RTR, which is the best for the price? Depends. If you are buying it exclusively for trailing, I would say buy the FMS. Because you basically, those ones that you just saw, wheels, tires, electronics, the usual FMS, the usual RTR replacement stuff. If you want to crawl rocks at all with it, you're going to get significantly farther with a TRX4. I'm going to put some carabiners in a length of 550 in my little triangle pack now. Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. Can I check my email, please? Hey, look at that. It opens it in the wrong window. I got to drag it over here. Why is that not resizing? Why is that not resizing? Okay, there's that one. Okay, it's just two. This will take me a minute. I'm just talking to myself here. Don't worry about it. All right. We do this. Yeah, there we go. So we've got that one. This is the FMS Jimny. And then we got that one. That's not too bad. Some good looking stuff. That is deep into the patina. I like I guess here's one of the true beauties of 1/6 scale. Look at how detailed those headphones and the radio are. And despite the fact that I know that a shock doesn't know if it's aiming forward or backward, that shock lean on the back, it gives me the squints. I'm like, what is all that? I would be, and did you say styrene? I would be desperately afraid of breaking that. I'll break everything. So I think I got them all. Well, I got most of them. There's still some alloy on the steering box and some of the more inaccessible screws. The set screws that hold the links on are still alloy. And the M2.5 by, like, I think they're 16s. I don't know. If these are 2.5 by 8s, I can replace them. If they're 2.5 by 10s, I've basically run out. No, they're much longer than that. I don't have any of these. So, as I mentioned, I sabotaged myself And that I came out here to correct the rear links, and then I finished. So I haven't recorded I haven't recorded this at all. The last time you saw it was here, and I don't think anyone could argue that the Lloyd 2 doesn't look absolutely ridiculous, because it does. It looks absolutely ridiculous, and assembled the way that it is, because it is. This is Crawler Canyon 1.5. It is quite skid forward. The link length differential is ridiculous. This is definitely a chassis that does not care for center pumpkin axles. Let's see, I just clipped the bottom of the door panels off. It looks like it sits stupid high, but it really kind of doesn't. It worked out. It worked out better than some other things that I've been working on lately. So, I mean, you know, I'll take what I can get. And if you'll take a look at this, if you put a no-name, inexpensive LCG gearbox into VRD rails, look how low everything is. Like if you imagine the imaginary line that would be the chassis rail that would go to end to end, the top of the battery is the only thing that is up at the level of the chassis rail. Everything else is, it's pretty down low. And I don't know if there's any pixies in this one. Nope. 31%. I don't think I have any charged batteries. No, you guys have not decided who's getting it. At least not that I'm aware of. And it's up to you. I'm not involved at all. It's going to get an episode during the week where I will we'll do the ghost ride thing, and then I'll throw some paint on it. And I would also like to point out, these are cheap, reasonably unattractive Amazon wheels. How did I lose my cell checker that fast? I turned around and set it down. Hey, this is fully charged. So here's a little something for your ear holes and eye holes. I mean, you know, there's 164 people here. We're still going to have some people to watch the video, so I'm not too worried about it. So if you take that no name, I learned a thing about the FMS/FlySky FSMG6, which is there's a throttle trim and a throttle dual rate down here at the bottom. If you accidentally nudge that throttle trim, you can turn the drag brake off completely. You can completely disable the drag brake as it is. I mean, there's some pulse width. We're that's to be expected. We're gonna get some pulse width out of it. It's a 2-in-1, you know. And this is basically one of my mechanisms for getting rid of RTR componentry, like receivers and servos and whatnot. So I just assume that everybody's gonna treat it like an RTR and discard those parts anyway. I have no idea what tires No, as a matter of fact, this is a no-name 32 pitch gearbox. It's just about the right wheel speed. And for anyone remotely interested, because there is no added weight of any kind at all, period, this vehicle is 4.78 pounds, as you see it right here. Sub 5 pounds RTR with a 2200 in it. It's like a pug. It's so ugly. It's kind of cute. Yeah, the body is like, if you were to see this and have no context clues, there's just a white backdrop on the other side. If you were to see this and someone were to say, hey, what's the wheelbase on that? You'd be like, I don't know, like 17 feet. It looks ridiculous. I think partially because of the proportions of the body. I think also in part because for the one time, I'm actually kind of thankful. As to 50% coverage, too short by about 3 millimeters on either side, because you can still see the mold groove on the tire. These are cheap Amazon, not a lot of depth with 6 millimeter hubs on them. And it almost, like, it very nearly, like, if we go at full compression, you could say it's got half coverage there. I would allow this if you want to run this as a crawler canyon class 1.5. I would allow it. I don't think anyone should buy one of these bodies, because I contend that they are hideous. Like, I don't know if there's some sort of compression that goes on through imagery, but my God, it is. I thought that it might, that view from the front, I thought it might come back around for me. No, it's just gross. It is definitely lightweight, though. And here's another beautiful facet of this. This vehicle has no torque split, and unless you change major componentry, it will never have torque split, because you'd have to, like an OD3, I guess you could do it. You could change that gearbox out for an OD3. No, an OD3 doesn't have the same bolt pattern as this one, but you can. I think they make a 3-gear adapter for the OD3, so one could conceivably put an OD3 in it. An OD3 will almost certainly change the required drive shafts. Like, it's going to take some. It's going to take some effort. I'm not going to come around. This body is hideous, and I say that from the perspective of someone who, like, has some knowledge of perspective. Like, this right here, this is upsetting. I believe that if they had made this body to fit a normal tire, meaning not a wheel well that is clearly intended for a 419, if they had built this body to accommodate a 465 tire or a 475 tire, I think it would look better, because then this fender arch would come back to right about here, and then this fender arch would come forward right to about there. But instead, it is a collection of squares, none of whom line up to each other. And the craziest part of it overall is that, like, look where the rear shock towers and shocks are compared to the bed. It's almost like they had the stance in mind. This body is sitting on top of the shock towers, front and rear. You cannot physically set this any lower. Oh, chunk. Almost Minecraft styling. Yeah. I like, here's the thing. We all understand what they're referencing. What the homage is here. You can take some artistic liberties if it's ugly. And it's ugly. Baby Ruth. Yeah. I don't know if it's coming or going. Yeah, see, it has to. The way the towers are on a stand/VRD, this body will only fit forward. I think I want one of those. I can pretty much guarantee that they're not going to sell out. You will be able to purchase a Lloyd 2 at your leisure, knowing that you are basically limited to building. Here's the double killer. This is actually painful for me. This is a Crawler Canyon Class 1.5. This is basically what you have to build. The body won't accommodate a bigger tire. And a regular, a normal chassis won't fit unless you use the kick forward gatekeeper towers. And if you put the gatekeeper towers on it, then you have to figure out how you're going to mount the body in the back because the drop. Oh no, the anvil is great. Everybody likes an anvil. Everybody likes an anvil because an anvil is just a chop top creep. I didn't notice it until I set them side by side, but it is legitimately just a drop top creep. It's just a chopped creep. All of the external measurements are basically the same. How long has the Axial CJ7 been out for now? Less than 2 years. I can look. If I go to my feed and I search for CJ7. Now, I'll be off by a couple months. It would be, I did my quick view 2 years ago, January 7th. So we're 5 days short of 2 years. So basically, you can say it's been out for 2 years. Looks like a 10-year-old hand made his first RC body. There's a proud father out there for that. Yeah. I have completed a thought about, I hate these. I hate these sliders. But this is actually an instance where they worked out because I put a tiny little bend on them to make them go up and meet the body. Right there, you can see the little, it's got the little wing angle on it. And my big idiotic servo mount, now I remember why my servo mount is big and idiotic. It's because it lines it up with a standard 25 horn. So it could be worse. It could certainly be worse. So most likely, contingent on the weather, I have it scheduled up for recording this upcoming week. But if I can't get to it because of the weather, my filming schedule is going to get offset, and there's a bunch of stuff that needs recorded and has not been recorded. So you're going to have to figure out who's going to get it. So you'll have at least a week, maybe more than a week, to figure out who it's going to go to. That's for you to figure out. Why do you automatically put everything to that monitor? Why can't you just open things in the monitor that I'm on? Like if I click it, hot dog, is it a sandwich? No. But I also don't think that a hamburger is a sandwich. I believe that a hamburger is its own thing. A hamburger is a hamburger. And I also believe that a hot dog is a hot dog. Just like a burrito is a burrito. An argument could be made that a burrito is a dumpling? And, these are fun. Now, see, structure-wise, you could say a hot dog is a taco or a hot dog is a sandwich, but a hot dog is not a taco because a taco comes in a tortilla, whether it be corn or flour. So a hot dog cannot be a taco. And a hot dog is not a sandwich because a sandwich is something else. If you asked someone blind, if you said, hey, would you like a sandwich? And they went, sure. And then you brought them a hot dog, they'd be like, bro, this is a hot dog. Because a hot dog is a hot dog. Cereal is a soup, and by that argument, applesauce is a stew. Is a corn dog a burrito? No. A burrito doesn't have a stick in it. So I believe when just like somebody who would call a cheeseburger a sandwich, that's crazy. That's crazy. Clearly, a hamburger is its own thing. Oh, that's a sandwich. You fool! Hit it with the open-faced club! Use the sandwich! Open-faced club sandwich. I don't see. I enjoy a Pop-Tart is a ravioli. I enjoy these things because it's funny. But I think there's a guy that he does like health related stuff, and he ends all of his little short content with "Okay, bye." That guy, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. He did a thing about where he was talking about cucumbers. And a bunch of people in the comments are always yelling that the cucumber is technically a fruit. And he said that if you can't distinguish between the scientific definition and the culinary definition, then I don't know how to help you. And I go, my God, that guy just ended that whole argument. A tomato is actually a fruit. Yes, a tomato is a fruit, like biologically, because biologically there's no such thing as a vegetable. A fruit is a thing, a vegetable is not. But, what is it? Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put tomatoes in a fruit salad. Bananas are berries. Strawberries are not berries. But it doesn't matter. A watermelon is a berry. None of this matters. Put sugar on a cucumber and it tastes like a watermelon. I think anyone would agree with that. If you core out the middle part of a cucumber, ignore that hand gesture, and just eat the outer part, it basically tastes like the rind of a watermelon. Which is why I've seen people eat watermelon like the whole thing. Eat the pith and the rind and everything else. And I'm like, And then on the other hand, I'm like, A burrito is a chimichanga that hasn't been fried yet. Guy 307, let me tell you something. We were at a little Mexican restaurant that my in-laws like to go to, and they sell a chimichanga that has a burrito in it. I kid you not. There's a whole burrito, and then outside of the burrito, they put more like cheese and stuff, and then they put another tortilla around it, and then they deep fry the whole thing. And as soon as I saw on the menu that they had burritoception, they put a burrito inside the burrito. I had no choice but to order that. It was pretty good. It didn't blow me away, but nothing I've ever eaten at this place, which has been there for like 30 years, it's what they like to call good enough. It's good enough. It's not going to knock your socks off, but it's pretty good. Red Cat Vertex is the best line slayer. Who am I to argue? If you take your Red Cat Vertex down to your 10th scale crawling lines, it's going to kill. It's going to absolutely slay, because you will have successfully confused capacity of scale for capability. If your rig with a 12-inch wheelbase and a 4.75-inch tire has a difficult time doing a V-notch or a climb of some specific type, if you take a vehicle that has a 19-inch wheelbase and 7-inch tires, it's going to do pretty good. That is called capacity of scale. An SCX6 is a 10.3 that was put into a copier and then enlarged 200%. It is not in and of itself capable, but it does have a 20-inch wheelbase and 7-inch tires and weigh 35 pounds. So it gets into a sort of crawling uncanny valley in that it can do a lot, but if you were to ask it to do something that a very technically adept 10th scale rock crawler can do, if you were to ask it to pull a sporty line, it's not going to be able to do it, because you will have gotten to where the capacity of scale doesn't translate. This is why whenever I hear rumor or see a tidbit of somebody giving their best of 2025 to the Red Cat Vertex, I said, apparently you don't understand how physics works. Because I am not tall enough to be a professional basketball player, nor do I have the proficiency. But if you were to take the little person of your choosing, if you were to take Deep Roy, if you were to take Wee Man, or that comedian, Brad Williams, I could beat those guys at basketball. Doesn't mean I'm better at basketball, but I do have capacity of scale. When I raise my arm to its full height, my fingertips are over 8 feet off the ground. So I'm a lot closer to the rim than they are. A Red Cat Vertex dominating 10th scale lines is me playing basketball against Wee Man. That's all it is. So if that's your best of the year, congratulations. Does it have proper suspension geometry? I mean, Yikong has kind of traditionally done a better job than certainly Red Cat has. Ooh, found one. Found two. 210s in the muffler. 210s in the muffler! Well, I mean, you can't compare the Vertex to any other Red Cat product, because the Vertex is not a Red Cat product. Someone was arguing vehemently on some form of social media that Yikong ripped off Red Cat with the 4061. And I was like, that's funny, because the 4061 came out before the Vertex. It's not a good 10th scale course if a larger vehicle walks it. A 6th scale is going to walk most any 10th scale line. And this is because capacity of scale. The things that make a 10th scale course difficult are not as difficult when you add 8 inches to the wheelbase. As Tony Gregg points out, I have some very difficult lines out back. People will agree to this, that I have some lines that are difficult. If you were to take a full-size rock crawler They would not be very difficult because most of my obstacles don't even come to the top of their tires. Capacity of scale. Where we win is when that Jeep tries to get in between some gates, because he's not going to do a very good job of it. So comparing, it's just like saying you don't even need a vertex to do it. Take your 10th scale, take one of these over to the 1/24th scale course and see how you do. You should do pretty great. You won't fit on any of the like bridges or ramps or teeter-totters that they have, but you'll be able to manage the obstacles pretty well. Haven't been into RCs long enough to buy a Red Cat yet? Well, if I have my way, I'll do everything in my power to prevent you from doing so, because I would rather you spend your money on something you'll enjoy. And hopefully, with any hope. I mean, I am my own worst enemy. So if I were to review the Red Cat Vertex, and if I were to say anything positive, remotely positive about it at all, that would automatically make people angry. If I were then to further say most of the accolade belongs to Yikong for engineering and designing and building it, people would also not like that either. You've only got to look at how much more capable a modern 29-inch mountain bike is than old 26. Yeah. Precisely. Go to a downhill mountain bike competition and find anyone riding a 26. It's the same with road bikes, with performance cycling. Steel is real, right? Find a guy on the tour riding steel. The only lines Red Cat kills are the ones on the parking lot tarmac. Yeah. So, YouTube will teach you this. You certainly can't please all of the people all of the time. I've had people accuse me. They're like, well, of course you don't like when people tell you you're wrong, because you're too used to being in the echo chamber that is your own comments section. And I'm like, there may be a kernel of truth to it. Maybe there is. Maybe I don't like things too much. But at the same time, by the same measure, screw that guy. You're wrong, because if I was wrong, that would hurt my feel-goods. Yeah. So while I have a much smaller amount of time invested in tiny toy cars that go slow, relative to both my life and relative to the amount of total time that I've spent tinkering with tiny toy cars that go fast, I've been at it long enough to certainly form some opinions. And people are all too happy, ready, and willing to tell you that based on their opinion, your opinion is wrong. Do the Mias inserts fit a 475 Tusk? They do not. Well, they do, but they also don't. The Mias silicones are basically the exact same width as the Injora silicones. So they are too narrow by about 4 or 5 millimeters. So they're going to flop around side to side. The non-Enduras, like the Famandas, are the correct width, but they are not quite tall enough vertically. So then you're going to have that little bit of gap space. Now, what this does for you is it puts you in a little bit of a pickle. If you're not using your vehicle for primarily trailing applications, I would recommend against a silicone insert just based on that. What brand size tire do you recommend for the Camel Trimmy under 110? Camel Proline G8 Toyo Open Countries, Open Country RTs, the 4.45. If you were here earlier, that's the tire that's on there, and they fit perfectly. Also, they have an astonishing amount of forward drive for a tire of their size and skinniness. We haven't had an issue with those tires at all. I'm running the RT Trails on my Discovery after seeing how good the the regular RTs were on the wife's. Could you fridge foam that gap space? Yes, you absolutely can. We call it shimming. You take yourself a foam, you trace it onto some fridge foam. Let me find that one that'll make me look the best by it being the roundest. I mean, I don't know. I have a lot of them. You just trace it around a foam and you cut these out and you put them on one side of the insert. The problem is, over a time frame long enough, they will kind of wad and move and get kind of shredded. So if you're going for mixed use, which is primarily rock crawling with a little bit of trailing, absolutely take a silicone and shim it. You'll be fine. If it's all trails, I recommend just getting a silicone that fits closer to the size of the tire. Yeah, see, these were Canyon Customs that were run in here, and they are already fairly pounded down. What we need is a wider variety of sizes of silicones to fit more tires. I had to use the old Alec P. It really works. It will glue your hands to the silicone. It will glue the silicone to the silicone. It will glue the silicone to anything that gets near the silicone, which is crazy because nothing really glues silicone. But boy, does that glue silicone. So that's how I made custom inserts for Bruce for the Trepidors. I glued more silicone to the outside. There's someone at my carport entry. Is there now? Is there now? Show me. Is it my wife leaving? You know what? Silicone does weigh too much. Weight. I missed the pledge thing. Is it basically Armor All for RC cars? It will keep them clean for longer. And now you've noticed, all I've gotten out is the pledge and the Otis gun brush. It's all I use. It is well and truly all I use. This was in a creek not that long ago. I haven't cleaned up inside the bumper yet. But wait right here. Oh, okay. I'm going to run and get that package from outside the door. Here's what I want you to do while I'm gone. I'm going to be gone for about 45 seconds. So during that, I'm going to be gone for less than that. Somebody's bringing the package to me. And here it comes right now. Yeah. Only took like 13 days to get here. Okay. I'm going to deal with that box momentarily. Here's what I want you to do. Based on the new Fleet Edition, here is your assignment. Oh, I missed those two screws completely. Okay. Hashtag deal with it. Because of Dana the Zool, and because of the green thing, it came from the Workbench 70. We have excess fleet overlap. Where does Ruby go to live? Again, I'm not participating. You all are going to figure this out together as a group. This is your assignment. Ruby needs to go somewhere. You've seen how Ruby is outfitted. Ruby needs to go somewhere. So figure it out. I'm removing the shipping labels if anybody was curious. Good old heat gun. Good old UPS. Steven Turner with a 10 again. That's a 20. I will pay for it to go to Hugo. Spin the wheel for Ruby. Ugh. Yeah, Hugo already definitely got one. I should get it since mine got stolen. It didn't get stolen. You were out playing with 32nd scale red cats, and the universe decided to punish you for that. What are the biggest disadvantages of heavy wheels on a rock crawler? The weight is good, but rotating mass is not the best. Because it's more taxing on your power train, it's more taxing on your servo. So, who was the guy that lost his cars in a fire? That was the raccoon, wasn't it? Wasn't it? And we're definitely not sending it to Belgium. Belgium has gotten all the rigs he's getting. The raccoon would send it by way of New Zealand. I I guess New Zealand is a great choice of any. Do I let Mr. C know that since he has not given me Toothless yet, he should send it to my wife so she can play too? Oh. Yeah, Mr. Turner has bought a rig many times over now, and every time we offer one, he declines. Politely and respectfully, but he always declines. If he would say, yeah, sure, I'll take that, then it would be easy. I was gonna leave wheels and tires on it, but it's the only set of those tires I have. Like I say, I'm completely. He hasn't declined it yet. I mean, I don't know. All right, well, keep thinking. Oh, wait. Don't stop thinking. I've already stopped thinking, so you're doing the thinking for me. Oh, it could have the cattleman wheels, but it would just be the wheels. It won't fit 4.65s. Yeah, I've noticed. I've noticed Mr. Turner hasn't said anything, so I'm not forcing anyone. You know, it does have Rock Pirate sliders on it. If that's a bonus. You ever thought about doing one of those trips around the world things? You know, where you send a rig to a guy, he has it for 2 weeks, films a little, and sends it to the next guy. Well, I haven't before, but I am now. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that before, but that's not bad. Look at that. Good old UPS. I'll gladly take Ruby. See? Decided. Solved. Done. Do you want me to put the plastic wheels in with it, or do you have beadlocks for it? Because if you have beadlocks for it, and don't forget, it's got IFS 2 on it. So it was swapped to IFS 2 back when I did the video comparing IFS 1 and IFS 2. And then IFS 1 got given away on something. Can't remember. All right. Easy peasy. Send me an email, though. Mr. Turner, send me an email. Otherwise, I'll be like, who am I supposed to send this to? So, yeah. It's not that heavy at all. And I miss some. It'll have a little bit of pledge on it. Yeah. Good to go. G2G. So we'll do half the unboxing here. Oh, Eddie White got his. What I did is I cut myself a new one. That was the one that I had over here, and that's the one you got. And then I cut myself a new one, and didn't realize that I cut myself a new one that is smaller. It works out. Hey, with the 5. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Benjamin, you're absolutely right. Team Racing Yikong. Carton number. Nothing. I gotta go, y'all. Good to see everybody. We've seen the raccoon. He made an appearance. Gross weight 4.4 kgs. Net weight 3.8 kgs. Contents 1. We have to save the actual unboxing. Oh, they've like it. They basically crushed it. Because the actual Yikong box is crushed as well. Look at that poor guy. I think I probably have a box that Ruby will fit in. So, brought about because of some tomfoolery that's occurring on the Discord. It has its own sub-channel on the Discord. Yes, this is the one with the plastic chassis. This is the one with the plastic everything. You can see that it doesn't have a skid. If you'll notice, that is unbroken. It's just continuous pieces of plastic. So yeah, there it is. So the truck bed on this looks, everything about this looks funky. The 4101, we're doing a little build. They are. I'm not competing. They're doing a little bit of a competition. The $150 build off on the Discord, because you can get this thing from the Hobby Zone in as little as 2 weeks. I ordered mine on December 22nd, and it arrived today. Yeah, manual diff locks. Think of it as basically the hyper super detuned 4107, right, with the cutting brake and everything. Like, the axles have the empty holes for the cutting brake. They don't have diff locks. It's got a little manual slider to lock the diffs. Yet at the same time, full ball bearings. The shocks and tires are every bit as bad as one would imagine. It's $150. That's the thing. $150 for an RTR. And the people who are doing their little impromptu competition, you can put $150 into it. And yeah, this thing has definitely got some drawbacks. They are unapologetic about having a 1060. Apparently the radio is not too terrible. It's just another one of those Fly Sky variants with the little buttons that FMS has used. FMS, Yikong, and I mean, it looks like moving forward, Red Cat are all going to be kind of indistinguishable. So if you get stuck, you have to pick up the truck to lock the diffs or unlock them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't. Here's the deal. Through Hobby Zone and or on Amazon, yeah, 5-link rear suspension. It's got a 4-link with a panhard in the back. Here's the deal. $150. I am willing to forgive a lot for $150. You know, they're $200 on Amazon, and then on Prime, so you'd have it in like 2 days, depending on where you're located. I can indeed get. Oh, let me show you this. So both of these, this is Hizzy from over in the UK. The 229 you're probably seeing if you're not on Hobby Zone, Mr. Hurley. If you're on Amazon, there's the RTR version and the RS version. The RTR version comes with a battery and a charger and all that stuff. That's why they charge $229 for that one. I checked yesterday. Oh, really? So no more $199? Yeesh. I will check Hobby Zone here momentarily. But yeah, that is, both of those are far, far more work. Like, you see that he made one into a truckster. Absolutely not. And then the other one is absolutely full patina. And again, absolutely not. There's both of those are far more work than I am willing to put in on any level. Let me see. Let me check Hobby Zone. Almost knocked over the pledge. I don't know if I've been on Hobby Zone from this computer. We'll find out. It would suck if they were like Hobby Zone, yeah. Mr. Hurley is correct. $229 now. I can tell you. Well, let me check Amazon. Maybe there's still $199 on Amazon. I don't know if I would drop $229 on this, and that's without having opened the box. Let's just search for Yikong. Come on. Okay. So still $199 for the ready sets, which is this one, which is confusing. You can see how it says RTR. So they have two versions: the ready set, which does not have a battery and a charger, and the RTR, which does come with a battery and a charger, and all of the boxes. Like, they didn't change the box; it just says what it says. There's still $199 for the moment on Amazon, shipping from the same seller, and it would take you about 2 weeks to get it. So you could probably still order them from FMS or Yikong or one of those places across the pond for $200. Yeah, $229 is really problematic. Yeah, like $229, yes, is $229 cheaper than where we're getting into other rigs? Well, sure. But based on the fact that we have manually locking axles, how about just lock them? How about just lock them? The plastic ladder chassis that I'm pointing at here, what are inarguably basher shocks, I don't know. $149 is really alluring, but $229, I don't know if I would have hopped in. I don't know if I would have hopped in at $229. Well, no, I rescind that. I know for an absolute fact that I would not have hopped in at $229, because the one has been available on Amazon at $199 for some time now, and I never bought that one. Yeah, I remembered. Yeah, don't forget the 5-link rear. If you want to dramatically limit the amount of suspension articulation you have in the back, just 5-link your rear end. It'll take right care of it for you. Absolutely nothing. Jolly Green is problem-free and trouble-free. Need a helper. Oh, it's the... Yeah. This is the things we do for no real reason. The amount I got to run a gear cover because of the wires, but truth be told, that gear cover's not doing much. There we go. All that to get to this. Five-link rear. Looks like you would end up replacing everything and have built a whole rig anyway. That's the goal. That's the goal. The goal is the opposite of that in the $150 build challenge, because I did a video on an RGT, and there's so many RGTs. I don't know what I don't know what number it was. 86 something, which was basically a 10-1 clone. And there's really no point for me in working on that thing, because it's basically just just think of it as a very, very bad element. So I saw it, and I was gonna go in on it, and as I was moving to take it apart, I was like, there's really no point. There's really no point in moving forward with this, because anything that 86-100, anything that I would want to make out of this would involve replacing all of it. So I was just like, we're gonna give it away to somebody, and then we did. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with it, right? It wasn't deeply flawed in any way, but if I'm gonna run an unmodified, leave it as stock as possible configuration C-channel rig, it's not gonna be that one, right? And at a certain point, we're gonna change the gearbox. We're going to change, on and on and on and on. We're going to change everything. So I can almost tell just by looking at it. There's in my normal frame of mind, there's nothing I would retain on the Yukon. So not much grease still on there. It smells oddly good. We'll slap some more grease on it. You know what? I don't want to scoop those out. So we'll just slap new 5x10s in it. That's a 5x11. I don't know why I'm bothering to make them all. Okay, let's have them all not match. I'll feel better about that. Because it's Jolly Green, right? Probably easier to do it this way. I'm going to sell off some of my die casts so I can get some RCs. Yeah, do that. I don't know what grease I originally put in here, but it smells kind of like sunscreen. What gearbox does the Ecto have a standard? This one, Stealth-X. Stealth-X. For the XF, all you have is Builder's Kit 3, Sendero SE, and U-Tron, right? A less capable rig on good tires is more fun than a line slayer. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. There's something rewarding about pulling that line that you don't think you're going to pull. That's why my Rhino doesn't really get driven. I reviewed the whole Tusk video. If you had one on a stock VS410, which would you choose? Tusks. Tusks. Because, yeah, the Tusk is far more universal. The Hunk and the Hold, by extension, are both kind of build-specific tires. They work great on some things, but they don't work great on everything. In my experience, Tusks work great on pretty much everything. It's really hard to go wrong on Tusks. And that is, I think, evidenced, at least here locally, by the fact that if you were to look across the fleet, I've got like 2 or 3 sets of Hunks, 1 set of Holds, and like 5, 6, 7 sets of Tusks. Tusks are everywhere. I think I run 419s, 475s, 525s. I ran 575s. I don't have anything fitted with 575 Tusks right now. I got to build something to fit 575 Tusks too. It should be enough grease. Someone is mowing their lawn right now, which is wild because it rained last night. And it is very wet out there still. All I buy are canyon trails. They're everywhere and dirt cheap to get. Yeah, I've probably bought my last set of canyon trails. Not because they're bad, but because I have so many sets of canyon trails. And it doesn't hurt that the Louise 6 gear is basically a cut canyon trail. So, saved myself a lot of work. The only way to get a semi-cab pretty much is 3D printing, but you do that, so that's that's not going to be a deterrent for you at all. Now see, I've been debating with myself since I did the die. I was like, okay, we'll just do it this way. It's a lot of chirping. Wasn't that Mrs. C's trailer ring? No. The wife drove Ruby once. While I hadn't built her G-Wagon yet. Yeah. There you go. And to help you visually, is Miss C going to go out during the Cattleman walks? Most likely not. Because I'm probably going to be doing it Tuesday mornings, and she will be at work. Also, if I want to incorporate this, I have to do this to it. So, I mean, realistically, it barely matters. I mean, you'll be able to see it a little bit. I'll be able to see a little bit from the back. But, like, you can't tell that's orange now. The green cover might be more important. Stock with green. Yeah, I feel that a little bit. G-Wagon needs a spare tire box on the back. Spare tire box on the back. I don't disagree. Green, orange, bright pink. I'm changing my mind. Yeah, since you, I mean, like if we, so this one's whole, so you can't see the peak of orange. Like you can't tell it's orange. I feel like green and orange is a pickle polisher move, but I'm also colorblind. Yeah. Well, actually, let's see. You can see, like, it's what the Spaniard doesn't like. It's a pop of color. The orange is from the Cattleman. The Comp Fox has the flip, has the gearbox flip, so that the motor goes to the front. Yeah, this is Halloween. And like it only shows what's leading. It's 52%. 52% is certainly not a it's not running away with it. Yeah, Mr. Stevens, that's exactly why this looks like this. It's just, well, this part is that way we cover the teeth, and because I put a slipper on it, the end of it the nut hits the outer cover, and then this has to be cut out because basically on it like this, because if you look at how small that hole is, if you go up to even like a 23, 24 tooth pinion, it will rub. Just using the orange plate with the green cover to get rid of the orange plate. Like if it's going to be I would consider cutting this to use on the black plate. That way there's like more green, more inner green. But if we're going to put the orange plate on it, which is slightly leading, I would just put the black cover back on it. Tritone it. I'm a sucker for a tritone. Changed my mind. Black plate to green cover. If you put the orange plate on, you have to show it. But I can't. This is non-negotiable. Like we have to run this because the wires actually sit on the cover going back, and the Spurger will just grind through it. My Jolly Green is cutting running a 26 tooth and an 87. I'm running 2287. Orange plate with belt drive. This I recommend strongly against anyone running a belt drive on one of these. It's too much. It will slack your belt in fairly short order because those belt drives are pretty good in some applications, but if it's anything producing a grotesque amount of torque and you're doing things like going from 60% throttle to 0% throttle, it will slack that belt. Yeah, Mr. Hurley is finding out why Jolly Green was built in the first place, which is Stealth X and TRX4 axles is an incredible amount of gear reduction. Yeah, if I put a belt drive, so let's put a belt drive and a Fusion Pro Elite on here. and then we can go and then run it on 4S on like a 29 tooth pinion. We could go like 35 miles an hour. Will paint stick to the orange one? It's just anodized. And the thing is, nothing was anodized the same color on that thing. Now, see, the thing is, you can only see the gold from the outside, and you can only see the orange from the inside. So, you know, I'm not opposed. I think I have enough stuff in the drawer to build another Stealth X. The Spaniard is going to bed. Hopefully he can start sleeping like a normal person soon-ish, as I have to get back to work on Monday after some nice holidays. Are you working hard, or are you hardly working? I like that we're still going with Consuela as our choice. I like that. I know he doesn't. That kind of makes me like it more. Yeah, barely working. Here's the crazy part. That gentleman said that it's 20 degrees in Pennsylvania, and when he says that, he means Fahrenheit. Buenos nachos. I think this is yeah. It's Robinson and Kimbrough, The Way the World Should Be. If I don't mind the Consuelo joke, if I ever get a girlfriend, you guys won't believe it. Yeah. You take your time, man. You take your time. I have a mortgage. I'm on like the, I don't know, umpteenth car that I've owned. I just looked over my shoulder. That was the pause. There's nothing you will ever have in your life as expensive as a woman. In all aspects. Time. Mental debilitation. Yeah. Oh. I didn't loosen this. This just came off. That's wild. Yeah, Hugo's definitely going to lure him in with the L'Oreal. I wouldn't mind having the 2005 V8 Mustang I want instead of a girlfriend. Some might say that you're on the right track. Anything but a damn Mustang. I had a buddy in high school that his parents had an 86. That thing was fun. We did a full Ferris Bueller with that thing. I was racing him in my Ford Festiva. And you know, it's a 5.0. Well, which isn't really. It's a 4.9. It's a 4.9 versus the 1.3 in my Festiva. And me and my buddy were in my Ford Festiva together. And we're on the street that goes up to his house, which is a gentle grade, probably like a 4% grade. And there's a stop sign right before. Then we have to make a right turn, probably about a little over a quarter of a mile from that stop sign to turn to go to his house. So he's just gapping me from stop sign to stop sign, and I go to my buddy that's in the passenger seat. I go, watch this. And we're going, and he's stopped. He's waiting at the stop sign, and I just go, just through that stop sign at like 50 miles an hour, shot right past him, and you could hear that 5.0 in that Stang absolutely light up, and he caught us and reeled us in about, I don't know, couldn't have been 300 yards. So me going damn near as fast as that thing would take me, and him from a standing start, he gobbled me up in 300 yards. And then when we got to his house, he lit that thing up on the launch. The smell of rubber was astounding. And that moron pulled it right into the garage. And you could smell the rubber in his house. His parents, which were old school Minnesota folk. His dad drove a big Dodge pickup with that like 80-gallon diesel cell in the bed. And we did the full Ferris Bueller where we got all the fans and we put them in the garage, and we were like blowing all the air out of the garage, trying to get that rubber smell out of there. And this was like a Friday, and then like probably holiday weekend. So say it's Tuesday, and we're back at high school, and we're like, "What's up, man?" And he goes, "Yeah, my dad got home on Sunday night, beat my ass." I was like, "You probably smelled that thing from the freeway, brother." Some good times. Good, absolute good times. The best of times, one might say. Days long gone by. His daily was a 66 Corvair. Him and his dad bought 3 of them from various wrecking yards and meticulously restored one of them with all of the parts of 3. Unsafe at any speed. That was a great car. We went to a bunch of air shows in that car. We went everywhere in that car. That is the thing about a classic car that you just use as a daily driver. You will drive that thing anywhere. And he drove that car anywhere and everywhere. I mean, where are we going to go? If we're going out somewhere, are we going to go with the guy that's driving an 89 Ford Festiva, or are we going to go in the guy that's driving a 66 Corvair convertible? We're going in the Corvair, am I right? Eddie White had a red Festiva. Mine was white, and it had those 80s graphics down the sides. It was an 89, 4-speed, 4 on the floor, manual, carbureted, 58 horsepower at the crank. It was a beast. Absolute beast. We called it the jumping bean. Man, I loved mine. That was a great first car to have. Now, I had mine when they were still selling them, so can't tell if I'm there. I legitimately can't see. Oh, I was way too far over. Got a man down. This takes all my physical and mental strength. Now it can't fall out. All that work. Can't even see it. What is a Festiva? Like a Fiesta? It was a Kia. It was a Kia. No, it was a Mazda. It was a Mazda. That's what it was. I can bring you an image. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. We're just going to go straight to the Wikimedia Commons one. Oh, brother. Brother. I mean, and this one, this image was definitely taken closer to now than to 1989. Up there at the top of the driver's A-pillar is the antenna, and you pushed it down manually. Those right there are the 12-inch steel wheels. Yeah, Mazda 121. Yeah. And it was sold as something else. It was sold as something else, too. There was the Mazda 121. There was the Ford Festiva. And then there was also, I would like to point out, look at the size of the Ford logo on the grill. It was like Ford didn't even want to claim it. It had a 1.3 liter inline four carbureted. 89 was the last year that they carbureted it. There was not a single Ford part on that car. It was a Mazda. And you know what else? Crank windows, no power steering, no power brakes, no power anything. I had to have the struts replaced 3 times in the time that I owned it. Then, those of you who know will remember so in the early 90s or so, some lunatics, they took one of them and they did this, right? That was the Shogun, right? Where those of you of a certain age will remember the Taurus SHO, which had the supercharged V6. Somebody took that supercharged V6 and they put it in the back seat. They put it in the back of a Festiva and they called it the Shogun. So those scoops in front of the rear tires are real because there's a supercharged V6 behind the rear seats, and someone who drove it said that the experience of driving the Shogun was like running full speed down a hill with a backpack that weighs as much, wearing a backpack that weighs as much as you do, and I believe it. That the shocks on Jolly Green are better than the original Festiva ones. Oh, by a lot. But I know I've talked about this before. The Festiva on the 12-inch steel wheels, which were made out legitimately. These wheels are more durable than the wheels that were on my Festiva. If you clipped anything, if you ran over a broom handle in the road and didn't get a flat tire, you were going to bend a rim. I would go down to the junkyard and buy a rim with a tire on it for $20. Yeah. It's also crazy that at the time, Yamaha, maker of pianos and saxophones and dirt bikes, also made the V6 that went in the Ford Taurus. I just watched a little YouTube breakdown thing talking about why does Yamaha make grand pianos but also dirt bikes? And the answer is the same as the answer to many things: war. They got pushed into service to make the stuff for the war machine, and then after the war, they just didn't stop making them. So the same facility, you know, if you're making precision stuff, you're making precision stuff. So it's not really any different to them. From a manufacturing perspective, making a piano is not as different from making a dirt bike as one might think. Yeah, amplifiers too. Yeah, and that is not unique, particularly among Japanese manufacturers. Let's look at Mitsubishi. What does Mitsubishi make? I mean, televisions, cars, container ships, trains. A couple of years ago, they made an aircraft called the Zero. Extremely vertically integrated. Oh yeah, Yamaha AV. My AV in the house is a Yamaha. The Costco variant. Didn't I just freshly charge a 2200? Was I awake? I was. This one's a little too fat. We need an older, we need a newer 22. It doesn't need to be in there all the way. We need to make sure that we put it together correctly. So I have the pinion out just a tiny little bit too far. That'll self-clearance. This is the stuff that this is the stuff that belt drives would absolutely hate. Did I make a way to turn the lights off? I did. Oh, that's nice. No, these are the Mias. The Mias are my go-to if there's room to go to them. Wonder what your thoughts on an optic stretch 15 millimeters in the rear, weighted Endura wides, Aztec G8, with Endura green and brass in the front. Haven't driven it yet. Thoughts or ideas? I think eventually, Andrew, what's going to happen is you're going to decide that you want to make it work, and the best way to do that is to put Capra axles under it, because the optic in its stock configuration is too long down the middle. I think it's making a real ruckus. Is too long down the middle for a straight axle. Now, if those Endura G8s are 525s, then you're better off. I don't much care for the Aztec just in general. But that's because it's basically Proline's interpretation of a Trepador. And the Trepador has never shown itself to be a very good rock crawling tire. It's a great trailing tire. Yes, 525. Okay, 525 is better. It's definitely better. I think you'll be pretty happy with it. It is going to have its own sort of set of built-in limitations. It being an optic, but I think you're gonna like it. If you if you happen back and we all remember, let me know what you think of the 525 Aztec. I have 2 sets of Aztecs up on the rack right here, and I've given away more than 2 sets of Aztecs. I just, they do not sing the song for me. We need more Jolly Green content. Like what? What are we talking? What are we looking at? It's crazy how fast these lights get warm. Because he's got his son too. His son is right over there. Jolly Green versus the Gauntlet. It's really, so far I've only run them on 3D printed inserts. Looking at 525 megs. Oh yeah, well. I can say this just as a generalization. I think you'd be happier on 525 megalithics than Aztecs just because of what a megalithic is. Right? You're gonna get farther on a megalithic. How would Jolly Green do on a wheel on Wednesday? Terrible. Because I built him to be a rock crawler. So he's running a substantial amount of gear reduction. And really, for a trailing vehicle, you kind of don't need that much gear reduction. You need enough to I would rather choose a different motor than add a lot of gear reduction. When I put the new gearbox on the wife's, it was basically, it was not just a surplus, it was an excess of gear reduction. No, that's not. Yeah, there we go. I need a tow truck for trailing. Here's a hot take. I like how megalithics look. Yeah. Well, you know what? At this point in the day, we can't fault you for that at all, because the man from Pennsylvania thinks Lloyd looks good. So, different strokes for different folks, indeed. My Jolly Green did awesome at Beat the Creek and is built very close to yours, except with a Fusion Pro. It just, like, for me, for trailing, if you'll notice, I'm clumping all you Pantsland people together. So if one of you, there he is. He likes megalithics and the Lloyd. So I'm clumping all of you together. You're all going to pay for his indiscretions. I got my package from the old Boom Racing. It's not a bad looking body. That's a wild take. Okay, need to slap some set screws in here, see what we're working with. Ruby is a trail runner. Basically, mostly stock, but not stock enough, because I contend, I believe, at the very least, I contend that the XF is actually a superior choice for IFS. XF plus IFS is a perfectly straight driveline. So, because the XF puts them out straight down the middle, that drive shaft is perfectly straight. When it's got an X in it, both of the drive shafts are at an angle. This is how this should have come. It should have come just like this. And the reason that they don't is that they have the battery tray right here. They could just put the battery tray here like Vanquish and everybody else does, and then give us an XF. The XF is the giant question mark of Element, in that they made this new gearbox, which, aside from a non-adjustable, you can't mess with the skid angle because the bottom of the gearbox is the chassis. They made it, and then they were basically like, "Yeah, we're not going to give it to you. We're not gonna fit it to anything." And then they keep making it worse. When are you going to start building a chassis for the Yikong Along Dong? My goal is to not. I want to. I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at it from a perspective of putting myself in a cage. I'm basically acting like it's caged. Did he do it again? He did it again. Another 10 from Mr. Turner. That's 30 on the day from that guy. That guy is a wild man. That guy. I have polluted my bench. Something terrible. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. You'll have to pay the shipping on Ruby soon, Mr. C. Yeah. I think he's domestic, right? Mr. Turner is domestic. He's not from far away. So it shouldn't be overwhelming. Oh man, I clicked out of the chat window again. Yeah, Missouri. Missouri's nothing. Ain't but a thing. I should have pre-tapped these. But it's too late for that now. Dang. Boom Racing makes their rod ends out of some serious material. So, this is, thanks to JP Wirt sent me to the page because I searched and couldn't find these. The adjustable linked links. So we're really cutting the legs out. Mr. Schmidt, the Trail Runner comes with IFS 1, but this one has been converted to IFS 2. Well, okay. Well, all right. Let me, okay. Wait, well. Stunod said I'd mostly do Element and Vanquish. But, maybe, do I? Do I, though? Because, let's see. It goes Traxxas Axial Custom, Traxxas plus Vanquish, Custom, Traxxas Mias Element, Vanquish, Mias, Custom, Traxxas, then Daphne's a Traxxas, Axial, Custom. Who makes the too low? Who makes the high low? Brazen, Vanquish. Like, I don't know if I'm loyal to anything. Yeah, there has been a lot of Element lately. Does anything come with IFS 2? Zool 2? Utron. Yeah, Zool 2 and Utron. So forgive me, what's the story behind the unit on the bench? This is Ruby. Ruby's going to live in Missouri. I went through a Traxxas phase. Here's the thing. I can easily say then I'm probably not buying anything Traxxas for the foreseeable future, because like the number of things that I have with Traxxas axles, you know, I like, do I need another Traxxas? If Traxxas comes out with something new, I will order it the day it's announced. Yeah, Traxxas is basically all high trails now. And I don't want that. These rod ends are hard as rocks. For a pure scale trail rig, would you do a VS410 or a TF2? I would do a VS410 because I would want at least a 313 wheelbase. I think that the trail is the place to embrace bigger. I cannot imagine, and I see people on Skeletra. I see people on Skeletra all the time going out and doing fairly long trail runs with trail finders. And I'm like, I could not. I cannot imagine driving a trail finder 3-4 miles. If it's going to be long, I want at least that 313 wheelbase. I want something bigger. That's why when people say the ultimate trail rig is an SCX6, I can't argue with that. Yeah, everything Shazzy is doing with eulogy element stuff feels like a eulogy. Yeah. I do not want element to go away. If we rewind back in time like a year, I knew less then. I feel like I know more with each passing day. I forget a little more and I know a little more, because when I was watching the direction that Vanquish was choosing to take, when at that time, if you rewind time back, 1 year, Vanquish had 2 kits, and now they have like 5 or 6. Like they had gone all towards RTR and they were super shrinkflating. Now I don't like the way Element is going. I don't like the way Vanquish is going. I think in terms of best of 2025, I think towards the end, kind of one of the biggest saves was Axial with the Coyote, because they had flopped 2 in a row, 10 Pro and Ghoulie Moo. And anybody who tries to argue that the 10 Pro and the Ghoulie Moo were not flops, they flopped. They flopped. The release of the VRD basically made the 10 Pro irrelevant straight out of the box. Like, why are you? What would compel you? What is the motivation to build a 10 Pro in a world where the VRD carbon exists? Yeah, I mean the Coyote was just a redone base camp, but almost, not in its entirety, but almost everything they did was an improvement. Like they improved overall. They corrected geometry problems. They went ahead and made new shock towers. They made new smooth bottom plastics. It still had an LCXU in it that they didn't even bother to nerf. They just left the same one in there. Like, everything was going in the right direction. If it had come on a 10 Pro axle or a straight axle, maybe perfect. And not on the new redesigned 100mm shocks. I don't understand what is going on over at Axial, where they have this deep, unstoppable love for 100mm shocks. I don't understand. In their catalog, I don't think they have anything that actually perfectly fits a 100mm shock. Even Capras don't come on hundreds. The Gulimu is super big, so it runs rift shocks on it, which is a whole nother thing, because good luck finding whatever they are, 135mm shocks if you want to replace them. Can the C hubs be caster flipped on the GRC G2 brass knuckles and hubs? No. But you don't need to. They do have more caster in them. It does improve the steering angle, and the increased clearance brought about by the G2s is worth it all by itself. And if you're fitting them to a TRX6, you won't notice. If you could caster flip them, you would never notice, because the turning circle in a 6x is still pretty big. I put 90mm GTS on my axial CJ. Yeah. If you can literally, like ordinarily, you can't just change the geometry like that on a chassis mounted steering rig. You can't just lop 10mm off the shocks and not mess something up. But Vanquish, their shocks are too long. 85s on a Phoenix are way better than 80s or 90s. And 90mm shocks on almost all of the axial vehicles are better than the hundreds. IFS is fun, but not good for trailing. The control arms start popping off ball ends. Also, if you bind it up, you will strip the sintered ring and pinion. I mean, I don't know. My kid drove it like he stole it. And it did, you know, it did pretty solid in all the times it went out. So 2660s on my Phoenix, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Argenum the Phoenix has been on 2660s since birth. No reason to change them. People sleep on big bores. I'm telling you, it is Sunday. Sunday! You will see the Trailman. You'll see the Trailman again Sunday. It's a humdinger. It really is. The Cattleman is a It is as big of an episode as I've ever seen of familiarity breeding contempt. I agree with Eddie White about the GTS. If Traxxas made a GTS version 2 and it just had a way to bleed the oil, oh my God. Oh, God. It'd be perfect. They'd be perfect. Just put a channel with a set screw. I'll take 10 sets. Yeah, RTR. Ready to replace. Oh, that pole's still going? We can get that off of there. It's been going for a while. 56 to 44, 89 votes. It's already on there. We're too late for that. Don't worry about it, Mr. Hurley. I wouldn't worry about it at all. I'm not worried about it. You shouldn't worry about it. Greetings from Germany. It's almost the 3rd over in Germany. Wait, is it the 3rd in Germany? Is it tomorrow? I don't know any of the time zones outside the United States. Yeah, kind of orangey one. Oh. Wouldn't be hard to drill and tap a bleed hole in a GTS cap. There's less space than you think. And it's fiber reinforced, and you'd have to drill a hole up on the inside and then meet it with another one. I mean, it could be done. I just, rather punish myself and do it the hard way. Yep. Germany is tomorrow. Saturday in Germany. Everything roll away. Sometimes I just want to sit down. That makes itself known when I come out here and I'm like, well, you didn't prep for that video that you're supposed to record. You didn't prep for it at all. If I prep for the recording tomorrow, if it's not raining, yes. Yes. I have 2 batteries charged. That's enough. Can you be late if you're in the future? Exactly. What axles did you use on the Rift? Rift. Well, more specifically, Trial. Is it Trial? I think it's Trial. I'm pretty sure they're Trial. RB14 is what I believe they call them. Trial. Because I did 4-wheel steer. And the only way to do 4-wheel steer, you have to buy the alloy housing. No, the Rift runs RB14s, which are only fitted to one vehicle, the Rift. They went their own way with those. RB14s are actually even bigger. They're very big. If you want to go 4-wheel steer, my recommendation is Boco. You are destined for Boco because I bought the one Trial housing. Yeah, the rear is mirrored. I bought the one housing and then ran a plastic front and an alloy rear for a couple of years. And then I started to have this sneaking suspicion that they were quietly discontinuing the Rift because it was getting harder and harder to buy stuff. So I ordered the matching front housing, and while I was ordering it, they were clearing out a bunch of the Trial stuff, which gave me further thought that I was like, oh man, they really are discontinuing these things. So I Trialed it out. I haven't driven this in a while. I should drive this. Oh my God. I think I've only driven this once since I put the 8 in it. For those unfamiliar, Robo Kitty big. Robo Kitty real big. I mean, if you're doing it, I wholly encourage it. And if you're thinking about doing it, don't do this. This is the ultimate expression of wants over needs. It's so long. The breakover is borderline catastrophic. Yeah, we did auction RoboKitty off. What was it, like $2,500? Did we say? People just kept upping it. Nobody ever came through and paid. So, you know, she's still here. Would you film a build breakdown? How do you mean? I've always said it as tree eel. Well, it's like the word real, but with a T in front of it. So I just go, well, I guess it could be treal. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know. I go treal. What was the specific collaboration between Vanquish and Horizon? I didn't get it. Was there one? It's only worth $2,500 if you can sell it for $2,500. Exactly. But I never intended to sell it. So they were asking me if I would. And I was like, you know, there's no hard ceiling. If somebody offered a ridiculous amount of money for it, I would sell it for a ridiculous amount of money. But I'm not running around trying to sell it. So, you know, yes, but also no. But also yes. But also no. What all was done to yours to get it to where it is? Andrew, let me tell you. So you start by removing the trailing arms. And you go 4-link all the way around. And you do this by going on Jenny's RC and ordering stock takeoff pieces. Why did I put both set screws in all of these? They only need one. So you get all the stock pieces so that you can be 4-link throughout. And then in order to 4-wheel steer it, you're going to need the triol housings. It's basically the only way to do it. Because you see the drive line goes in a perfectly straight line. Benjamin with the 20! Arboreal triol. I like that. Benjamin with the 20. Oh, it's going all slow. It's going real slow. Who's he gonna hit? Truckin' Matt? Truckin' Matt got hit? Kalima. Oh, it's raining. Just starting to hear it rain. Nick Daniels, presumably different from Neil Daniels, it being a different name and all. So, okay. So you're going to have to get that rear housing to put everything in line. And then you're going to you're going to find out that they have stuff on sale. So as I said, all the triol stuff, triol knuckles, brass link mounts, you don't need any of this stuff. That is quite loose. Realistically, I know that there are more than one person that runs their crawlerized rift, which again, not recommended. They run their crawlerized rift without 4-wheel steer. I laud them. That's awesome. I don't think I could, right? Because it's so long and it's so big and the breakover is so poor. Like, I didn't know. I did a lot of foolhardy nonsense, which is I didn't know when I was building this one that you could just get a skid to mount a 3-gear in there. So you can basically put like a Stealth X or whatever in there and then slap a motor on it and you'll have more gear reduction because the stock gearbox has very, very little in the way of gear reduction. It is just pretty big. You can get around a lot of that lack of gear reduction by getting a spur adapter and running the spur gear from a Emax T-Max, which is a 32-pitch 72-tooth. You can slap that boy in there. Yes, RoboKitty, these are 575 landmines, which, barring the existence of a 575 megalithic, which we've yet to see, the 575 landmine would be my recommendation. RoboKitty was formerly on 575 tusks, which, as you can see, are actually a little bit taller than the landmines. A little bit taller than the landmines. But the tusk, while being great at a lot of things, is not an astoundingly good 4-wheel steer tire. For 4-wheel steer, you want a tire that has no directionality to it at all. Sedonas, big old Sedonas might actually also be a decent choice for 4-wheel steer rift. But the landmine is very good. And I learned this after, 575 ruptures. Yes, that is also true. I forget about those. The 575 rupture are not on here because I already have 575 ruptures on Zoidberg. So these were genuinely purchased as a to turn a theory into a hypothesis, or vice versa, whichever one is the more correct way. Because I had this theory after working on Blue Sky High, which was my first foray into four-wheel steer, that when I moved, as I was moving him through tires, and I kept saying, like, would 5.9 ruptures work? Yeah, absolutely. I kept saying to myself, there's something about this that I just don't like, and I don't explicitly know what it is. And then, because it was my first four-wheel steer rig that I was working with, I kept changing tires and changing tires and changing tires, and finally put Losi rock claws on them. And I was like, oh, okay. So you want a tire with no directionality is what it is. First, you want a rear that has minimal caster change, and for whatever reason, possibly due to the complete lack of lower link triangulation, perhaps the relationship of the lower link mounts to the upper link mounts, like the spacing, both the spacing this way and the spacing this way, there's basically no caster change on the rear axle during suspension travel. So this, I took to four-wheel steering this more easily than I did to Blue Sky High and Big Ruptures. So I knew that Big Ruptures were great for four-wheel steer because I'd already done it. So there's a lot less going on under here. This is the Tulo that I fought tooth and nail. It is angled, pivoted, and turned in order to get it between the rails. Still running old 9 Imod 3542 1850. Renault V40, Paravan SDRCs, 4S all the time. So I already knew these worked. So I wanted to find out if these worked. And also, another thing for four-wheel steer is the longer your wheelbase, the better. Because, as I keep pointing out to folk, even if they don't ask me, like you're not asking me now, and I'm going to tell you anyway. When you're like this, the wheelbase is now shorter on this side and longer on that side. And that's not a problem with either of these because we are at 395 and Zoidberg is 345. So it's not as big of a problem. Oh, and if you like travel, you can really go lord over the. That's a 150 millimeter ruler. You can really go straight at the Reddit guys with what a with what a Rift will do. A Rift is definitely long travel, but they are straight axles. It really makes me wish there was some kind of portal conversion because I run a deep wheel and they're spaced out pretty far. Like you can see the whole C-hub inside the tire. I would love to be able to run a tire tucked in more with a portal. Like somebody out there engineer a portal box that goes or just figure out a way to put Gulimu axles on here. But Gulimu axles with all of the worthless ASD stuff deleted. That'd be great. How long are the shocks on a Rift? You know what? No, I don't even know. Oh, don't say Vitavon makes portals. Then it's out of consideration. The rears are 150. Looks like the rears are about 150s. And the fronts are 135. That one I remembered. 135s and 150s. Yeah, they are incredibly long. Oh. To whomever asked about it, this is a pro tip. This is very helpful for crawlerizing a rift. These are Traxxas high trail shock springs. White band on the front and orange band on the rear. I had them because I'd been tinkering with high trail shocks and I was ordering the high trail springs. Oh, portals for rift are only $250. $250 is not bad. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Vitavon Rift portals. I have this fear. Oh no, it's just a conversion. It's just a conversion. Straight from Vitavon, $220. You know what? That's not that bad. That's not that bad. Fits with Vitavon axle housing only. There it is. There it is. There it is. So it's definitely not $220. Now it's definitely closer to $500. Yeah, if I could just order those, yeah, I would buy those. But it does say in large print only fits with Vitavon axles. Dang it. The high trail springs. The high trail springs are great because they are far too short. See the gap right there? I run my collars down a little bit, but they give you that nice. These are one of the only sets of axial shocks that I run. Period. Like and take special note, they're right side up. They're not even being run upside down, and they're fine. They're pretty okay. They're solidly okay, which is surprising because Misdirection had a set of axial shocks and doesn't anymore. Yes, yeah, the Billies. We looked it up. Oh, I can do this. Vitavon Rift Portals, $220. Fits with Vitavon axle housing only. And I have to assume that, well, I mean, you know, maybe somebody can find it on Reddit or one of those other places where people talk about it. What is the difference? What is the difference between the Vitavon housing and any other housing? I heard Vanquish has a new low pinion portal for off-road superiority and mold applications. They do. They do. I like to call it the full portal kit, $738. I can say fairly comfortably this is about $738. I did build my own gearbox. There's my own gearbox in here, but you didn't need to. I didn't need to. I didn't know that I didn't need to. Had I known, I wouldn't have. But because I did it this way, which I'm not saying is the smart way or the right way, because I did it this way, I have so much gear reduction that I had to gear up. I had to gear up an 8 on 4S. That 8 is really something. Yes. VR knob just pulls on. It's just on a pot. That is the VR knob. And what I've done is I've taken a steering wheel. It has the hole in the center. I drilled through that hole into a VR knob and then shoved the VR knob into there, and then I put a little skateboard tape around it. And then I left a break in the tape so I know that that is roughly centered on the steering. Sometimes I'll make a mark on the radio to know if it's lining up. It's not a perfect solution, but it's pretty good. I've seen a lot of, I know there are people and or companies out there that are doing like four-wheel steer conversions on radios, and they do one for the Fly Sky, the whatever 11. I don't like it. I don't like when they have the wheel down here. I'm so used to the wheel up here. Now, it is freaky thumbs activity, but you have your choice. Like all your 3D printing people, you could make anything to go onto here. I enjoy the symmetry of it. I'm not saying that this is the way to do it. I'm saying that this is the way that I did it. Fusion 8 is a hell of a thing. Pair of 60 kgs. It's not a V2. Don't even have cruise control on this one. Also, another aspect is, so the trail housings, when I was getting the trail housings, they're like, they were $100. I think I paid $129 for the front, but I only paid $99 for the rear because I bought it several years ago when they were only $100. And then, the links and all the pieces for it, I spent more than I probably should have. And then I put a Fusion 8 in it, which I spent more than I probably should have. Heavyweight, Injora, the whole deal. And then all of this stuff. Do you need these mounts? No. Do they look cool? Yes. Same for the trail rear mounts. All of the little trail bits. It's definitely been driven. Yeah, I'm running a big pinion on there. That's got to be like an 18 or a 19. That 8, the torque that 8 puts out is... This is probably the only thing I have here that I would voluntarily fit that motor in. Gonna leave the gearbox but put portals on it? Yeah, that would do it. Because according to this, they're 1223. Yeah, 1223. So that's 1.9s. So that's a lot of portal reduction. That will slow you right down to where this is slowed down to. Because I built a 4-to-1 gearbox, and then I'm running about 3.5 at the spur pinion. So that's like, I can tell you. I don't have to guess. I built the stupid thing. 72 divided by 19 is 3.79. So we'll just call that 3.8. 3.8 times 4. Yeah, that's 15.2 to 1 out of the gearbox. And then I'm running the overdrive and the underdrive, which is 1233. Does that sound right? 2.75 times 15.2. Yeah, it's 42 to 1. So that's plenty fine. What wheels are the minimal cage rig in the intro? The oil slick ones, and I think Dravtech or Chavtech. I don't know. I don't know. They're definitely from Amazon. What's the score with all this HV servo mumbo jumbo? Servo happy with 8.4, okay for Direct 2S. What voltage does HV kick in at? I think according to people that make servos, they basically consider battery voltage to be high voltage. So I think they're still operating from a 1990s mentality where anything over 6 volts is high voltage. I would say 8.4 is where HV comes in. Anything 8.5 volts or higher would be high voltage. And even that is becoming outdated. Like 3S and 4S are becoming pretty common. If you were to put a straight front axle on Ruby, would you simply use the front links of baseline? I think so. I think it's the same front link spec all the way around on the Element vehicles. Funnily enough, when you buy that vehicle, it comes with a front axle housing as well as the parts to make the links. So it's almost complete. I mean, probably not anymore, but it's an almost complete setup to run it. That's what I did on. I did one previously where I didn't build the IFS on it. I've already forgotten. Makes sense. They're still stuck on AA batteries as power source for radio gear. Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah. How the AA is still considered as something viable is crazy. It's crazy. It's the 21st century. Not only that, we're over a quarter of the way into the 21st century. Radios should be running on at least 18650s. Would you put one in a 15-pound TRX4 hardbody trail rig? Yes. But I would probably just put... yeah. For that, go all the way to the 8 because you have the extra wires. So you can adjust your drag brake on the fly. Because you are basically punishing... You're punishing your drivetrain from every possible direction. Yeah, so that is a situation where I could see an 8 being fitted. Because RoboKitty's not light. Over 10 pounds for sure, but why wouldn't it be? It's, what'd we say? 4 something. This thing's wheel track is 340 millimeters. So it's big. And, oh, wait. I'm going to run over my own hand because 4S through an 8. It'll go. Would a VFD twin with IFS2 have enough gear reduction for crawling? Well, IFS2 is the same exact gear reduction as an Element front axle, which is 830, 3.75. So it'll be just like driving a straight axle. You're probably, I mean, you know, you throw a Pro Elite or something in there. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I prefer a VFD with portals. I'd like a high gear reduction VFD, if such a thing could be accomplished. But yeah, you'd be fine. I don't know how, like, that thing's going to be pretty long unless there's a stubby on the VFD. Because also the VFD has an offset front output. It's basically designed for offset front pumpkin. I'd be interested to see a VFD twin paired up to a... I think Stealth XF plus the IFS is like the perfect organization. So, is it? Yeah. No Spaniard. No Spaniard to call me out. I dropped so many... inserts off the rack. Hey, Neil Daniels, a fellow blue-eyed devil. I am one as well. Or so my wife has called me more than once. So, I got more than I thought I would get done, and at the same time, I got less than I probably should have gotten done. I don't know if we're going to keep it for a lull in a live stream, but my wife had the audacity to say that she didn't understand why I asked for this for Christmas, but this was one of my things that I got for Christmas. Look at him. He's adorable. I'm going to build that guy. I'm going to put him over there somewhere. Look at that guy. And look at his friend. Amazing. So, these two boys, they're in the box right behind me. I'm going to build those guys. And I'm going to hope that the weather report is both right and wrong. Oh, no, they are... they're happy plants. They're Lego plants. That's the best kind of plant because you can't kill them. He is 12 centimeters tall, and he is an unknown height. And look, they put little roots on the Lego plant. Amazing! I love Legos. Legos are amazing. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how much money I would spend on Legos if it wasn't for this stuff? So much. Oh my God. Thank God my one hobby is... I reckon I could still kill those plants. Thank God my one hobby is so successful at preventing me from spending more money on my other side hobby. Yeah, I see Lego sets and I'm like, amazing. And I'm like, nope, don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to build it once and then never touch it again. There's a Lego T-Rex right over there. And the Lego Minecraft thing right over there. And a Lego, oh, I didn't even realize how much Lego had already started to invade over here. All right. We're gonna do the thing. Where to put it? There we go. I dropped Susan earlier. Oh, honest to God, I almost bought that Lego ATST at Costco like 5 times. Every time I would see it out on the little display at the end, I was like, and I'm not that big of a Star Wars nerd, but what's coming up in the week? Remember when we tested the Tovos? Not a Toyo, that's a V. We've got little Tovos. We'll be testing the little Tovos. That's coming up. We've got to do the ghost ride on the giveaway build on the Lloyd-bomination, as I've been calling it. I've got a quick view on the Renjoy. If you've seen the Renjoy, 80 amp with a case, and there's a weird looking, looks like a 3542 Outrunner with it. This was cheap as hell. I think it was like $60. It was around $60 for the combo. These did arrive. I have to go through all the work. I have to go through all the work to cut these and mount these and do everything, because as somebody pointed out, the twins are red and blue. We might as well go red and blue, and we will do them side by each to see if the red ones drive any differently than the blue ones. As they're not basically the rubber as we know rubber, I don't think they will be. But, and then I've got even more Class 1 tires set aside, but they're not on the test board for a couple days. Of course, there will be the quick view of the Yikong 41011, but I don't know what day that will be. I'm so behind. I'm so behind. Oh, Susan need that drop. Got that good spin. So, thanks so much, everybody. I will see you and all the other things. I'll see you on the Discord. If you're on the Discord, Be sure to play the Wordle. Don't forget to play your Wordle. Now that we're doing it on the Discord, I look forward to my Wordle every day. I hope the Twins get new Forever tires to match that paint. Heck yeah. Red on red, blue on blue, and there's a capper here that needs to be built. There's too many things here that need to be built. We'll get to them when we get to them. And I will see you then. Reverse spin.